Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Pop Like here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the United Excited ADV. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Edward. How are you? Hi.
I I am doing fine. What a week. I would just say that, and I'm not gonna go any further. But man, we had some good discussions last week, and I'm so excited for the discussions that we had. Mostly everybody for expansion pass, for ranking Nintendo, just a whole bunch of good discussions that we have definitely had. And we're going to have some good discussions with the news tonight because one particular thing I'm happy that was announced, and we would definitely discuss it because it kind of gives us something that we can look forward to and plan for next year. But we'll get into that in family news. But Corey, how was your weekend?
It was all right. We went to well, we didn't go anywhere. We ordered in for Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. For those who have been listening for a while, you know that my wife is Jewish, and so we did that. And my daughter had ballet, and so we just did those things. So, yeah. How was your weekend?
I have started my first rehearsal for the program that's happening in October for their Jewish holiday, which is going to be October 9th is the concert. Uh, we had our first rehearsal Saturday, and it went very well. It was so weird because it's just like we had all these sopranos, we had all these altos, and then it was me and another person that I didn't recognize, and then I realized who it was. I'm like, wait a minute, you look completely different. So it's just us, like us two tenors, and my friend, who's the director, he kind of yelled at me. He was just like, I need you tenors to stay on that note that I'm giving you. I want to do this other note. And I was just like, why are you looking at me? We just started laughing and everything. But definitely um getting a chance to finally sit down to play some games and stuff. I've been taking a look at some stuff, some older stuff that I'm going to be getting back into. Definitely with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm definitely going to get back into that. Just had to try some new stuff out, new stuff that I have purchased and everything. So I'm excited to get back into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So many people are getting to the end point, and I think I'm powerful enough that I can progress the story along. So hopefully by next week, everybody, I can chat up a little bit about finishing Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And last but not least, one of my friends on Twitter beat Death's Door, and I was excited for him. And I don't know about you, Corey, but I felt like it was the way when we beat Death's Door. It felt like it was a good time to play that game and beat it in
Yeah,
a sense.
I feel like that game has got another resurgence. I think it's because, like, the limited run physical copy is coming out too,
Uh
right?
huh.
So, it kind of feels like that game got a new lease on life, I would say. But yeah, man, that game is something else. I love that game. I love it.
It Yeah, it feels like I don't know if you want to do a special pass on this, but don't you sometimes feel like there are games in your backlog that just it has a specific time that needs to be played, and when you just be like, okay, let me just try this. You try it and you get into it and you finish it, you be like, man, I know I missed the excitement when it was released, but I enjoyed myself at this particular time
Yeah,
with this game.
yeah. I mean, we still need to do a spoiler alert on it. I know we kind of promised it earlier. I want to
Hmm.
get Stephanie involved on that too because she's been playing it, and that game is really interesting. That game, that game is like really special, and it feels like a AAA game trapped in an indie game, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yes, yes,
Like it's just so the combat is so fluid and the game is so well put together and the story has great writing and the characters are cool and the boss battles are they feel larger than they should, right? Like it
yes.
just feels like a AAA game trapped in an indie game and it's wonderful. It's just
I
wonderful.
think and that's I kind of feel like when an indie game is well polished, that's what gives it that triple A vibe off of it and stuff. That I it's amazing because as much as I talk about Greed, and people know that we did it for Talk the Walk, I love Greed, and it drew me in from the animation, the music, the emotions that I was feeling, and it really felt like a triple A game. Just like, man, how can an indie developer make something so polished, so clean, and so enjoyable? That it's beating out all these other big 40 million, $100 million games. Like even if we look at Hades, like Hades, I feel like it was a well deserved uh game of the year because of how polished that game was. And it's kind of addictive for a lot of players and everything. And it was good to see that that game, that was on a that came to a Nintendo platform get game of the year to make people be like, okay, I can't wait to play this on PlayStation. I can't wait to play this on Xbox. Which I still feel like the Xbox green with the Hades cover is still beautiful. I love that color combination. It's still so good. Uh, but yeah, I think it's when indie games have a well good enough polish that it makes it feel like a triple A game. It makes it makes I feel like it makes a gaming library just just more valuable in the sense of entertainment and getting something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's some indie games out there, man, that just change the way you think about what an indie game should be. And now we're getting into that space where like are indie games kind of taking over that single A or double A experience where
Hmm.
that we're missing, and then like these new kind of smaller indie games are taking up the original indie game space, right? Like I don't know, man. Some of these indie games have a lot of AAA quality to them in a lot of places. And
I,
go ahead.
no, I feel like Shovel Knight was the starting point. The Shovel Knight was the starting point of this new breath of fresh air for indies for people to be into them because just like I know XBLA was the big thing even we were in PSN when they had those kind of games and everything, but it just feel like it got to a point that when it hit Wii U and Shovel Knight came out, it feels like it just changed the look of indie games and everything. And when it started becoming, I feel like it's got this resurgence of it becoming popular was because it started with Shovel Knight and
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
Shovel Knight did a lot. You know, I mean, I would put like there's specific games I would group together that really like boosted the way that indie games are thought of, right? Like you have
Hmm.
that first wave of indie games like Braid and Fez and
Yes,
even something like
Geometry Wars. I
yeah,
give it to that for XBLA.
yeah, I mean, that's not. I mean, technically not an indie game, but it feels like an indie game, right? But like, what was that game that Chair Entertainment made? The Metroidvania E game that was made by Epic. Uh,
Oh,
you know what I'm talking. Oh, God, what is that? I
yes,
want almost said Alpha Protocol, but that's not right because that's the uh
because that was the game that had that controversy because the author was I think a racist or something like that, something or
oh,
sexist or something like that. The author was something because he wrote that book that the game was based off of
yeah.
and everything.
Oh my gosh, what is this game called? It's gonna bother me until I know what it's called. Sorry, everybody. It's just bothering. But okay, so that game, and then like you moved into games like obviously like Flow Flower,
Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex. Thank you. Uh, I also almost said Shadow Warrior, but I knew that wasn't right either. Shadow Complex, which was like this really cool, uh, like spy military Metroidvania e type game, and
Hmm.
that was really cool. And then you moved into like a second stage after like I would say after Journey, even though technically not really an indie game, but it had
Hmm.
that indie feel, right? Uh,
Yes.
you moved into games like Axiom Verge and Shovel Knight and Hyper Light Drifter and N plus plus and games like that where like in Super Meat Boy, stuff like that, and it just like changed the way a lot of people thought of indie games. And then you moved into a direction where these studios who started out on 2D indie games, pixelated stuff, like moved into the 3D space, right? And
Yes.
that's where you got really interesting titles. And now like you look at something like No Man's Sky, technically an indie game, but look at that game. And uh I think the term indie needs to be redefined now,
Well,
because I think
it's
because like technically Destiny is an independent game, is an indie game, right?
mm,
Because Bungie is independent. Well, not anymore, but they were. Uh, and so like you can't put that in the same category as something like Super Perils of Baking or Shovel Knight Dig or Axiom Verge, right? Like,
well, I think it was. I think when we think of indie, we think of definitely budget. Of like who has a bigger budget and games out versus uh are just from around the world and everything. Because like if we think of how maybe we probably talked this in the expression past, how Flash games was the indie stuff. So like Cave Story, Oregon Trail for some people, uh, you know, Alien Hominid, like some of that stuff, like early in the early '90s and stuff. They were or early in probably 2000s. Those Flash games were the indie games until all of that transition. But Alien Hominid came out on the GameCube. Cave Story came out on WiiWare.
mm-hmm.
Like these games that was back in the day with some of them that felt indie and everything or second part or double A, they were getting printed. They were getting disc versions on these like on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, and there were still some that was still on the computer. And I think when XBLA came and PSN came and more WiiWare came, then yeah, indies started changing and stuff because like you Mega Man 10 and Mega Man 9. That's Capcom. And people
Mm-hmm.
who never grew up with that game, they'd be like, oh, is this an independent game from Capcom? Who don't know that Capcom is a AAA developer. But then Capcom was also doing Strider as a Metroidvania, the remake of Bionic Commando, the 2D one, not that 3D one that was and stuff. And it was just like, okay, even these developers are getting into it. Like we talk about Good Job from Nintendo. Like Nintendo published a indie game, and it's just like who, like yeah, how did you define indie with that? Insomniac used to be an indie developer. Bungie used to be an indie developer. I think the independent status, like you said, has changed. But I think now, when we think of indie, for me personally, it's just like we got so many creators worldwide who are still working from home and everything and making these games to get it out and stuff to get, we don't know what their budget is. Uh, but they're almost making games on a competitive level of a triple A, of a Nintendo game, of a Bungie game, or Microsoft or Sony or even EA. You know, like they're on that level of making games like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I mean, we could probably talk about that, or have somebody on an expansion pass that probably knows or wants to talk way more about indie games. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm not exactly the indie person, but I know there's a lot of people on the team that like indie games. So, I mean, maybe we can
yeah,
pull a couple people together to talk about that for an expansion pass or something, because indie games are fascinating, and I'm not the biggest indie game guy, right? Like, I play maybe one or two a year that really catch my eye, right? And
hmm
I'm going to talk about one later tonight that, like, I've played a little bit, and so we'll talk about that later. But, like, I don't know, I champion them, and I always want them to be good and have success and all that stuff. So
yes. Well, Corey, we got some Patreon shout outs to do. So let's shout out our Patreon producers.
oh yeah, Patreon. Let me pull them up. I was not thinking about it, so
We were
forgive
into the
me.
conversation. See, everybody, these are the conversations me and Corey have. And when we get into it, we have great conversations, great thoughts, and sometimes I always feel like, man, we should record this conversation. Other times we can't record the conversations for different reasons. Uh, but yeah, these are the conversations that we have that I truly enjoy. So are you ready, Corey, for the shoutouts?
Yeah, sorry, I had a message from Patreon, and nothing bad. It was they're changing the way they're billing people if you uh so well, I just that's important for us, but not for the listeners. So, anyways, yeah. So, if you want to support Nintendo Power Block, you can head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get early access to 5 shows currently. And we offer 2 tiers: the $1 tier, where you get early access to those shows, but we also offer a $5 tier where you can become a Patreon producer. What does that mean? It means you get early access plus a Patreon producer credit that we will shout out during this segment of this show and others. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. All right. So without further ado, our Patreon producers for this episode of Nintendo Power Block are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Rebecca Jewell, and Prince Unsmooth Toes. I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons, and I want to thank all of our free listeners. Remember, all of our content remains free. We just give you some perks if you support us. Expansion passes for you PAL Block listeners is one of those early access shows, as well as Standard Definition, which is our retro nostalgia podcast we have ranking Nintendo, which you will also hear on the Nintendo PAL Block feed sometime after. Anyways, Ed. Nope, wait.
Yes.
Wait. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating or review. It really helps us out. Thank you. Okay, Ed, back to you.
Corey, do we have any housekeeping for today?
No, none. Zero.
Housekeeping?
Zero.
Okay. Then
Subscribe,
everybody,
share, rate, review, high fives all around.
yes.
I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
not I'm not feeling great today. It's fine.
well, everybody, it's time for Snacktendo. And Corey, I'm going to start off the Snacktendo because I've been eating a lot of chilies lately. Um, and Friday I ordered a cheeseburger and some mashed potatoes with bacon in it. And I ordered a baked potato soup, but they didn't deliver my soup. I'm like, what the heck is this? You know? But they didn't charge me for it, so I was fine with that. But man, I I don't know what's happened, but they strawberry lemonade at Chili's is popping. It's hot. I'm like, oh, this is so good. My throat must have been like dry or thirsty or something. I sucked that mug up. Uh, and my other associate, I asked her like, did you have dinner already or anything? She said no. I was just like, you want Chili's with me? She's like, oh yeah, that's fine. So we got the 3 for me deal. So
Hmm.
we pretty much got the same thing and everything. And it was just so good just eating that burger. Um, but then Sunday, I had chicken sandwich for them with some secret sauce on it. It was good. Uh, and I had the mashed potatoes. But then I had like a house salad, which was good. And they gave, I don't know what happened, but okay. So everybody's not gonna agree with this. They're gonna agree with me, or they're gonna yell at their TV or whatever. Love me still. I love blue cheese salad dressing, and they didn't give me enough to pour in my in my in my salad, and I'm like, this salad gonna be dry by the time I get finished with. So, oh, second.
Your
So I was
sound is
just,
messed up, Ed.
oh, how's this?
Oh, you're good. There you go.
Oh, yes. Sorry, everybody, about that. So a little technical difficulties. Um,
It's fine.
I I oh goodness. I was just like, it's not gonna fit my salad or anything. And sure enough, it didn't. It got to like half of it, and then I got to the bottom. Just like, I don't want the rest of this because it's dry. Like, and then it made me want to be like, you know what? If I get any kind of salad now, I need to just have my own blue cheese dressing. So I think tomorrow after work, I'm gonna go get some blue cheese dressing.
Gross.
Because I got, but that it's because of me having blue cheese dressing at Red Lobster.
It's gross. You're the worst. It's so
Right?
gross.
Because you like basic ranch.
Yeah. That's literally all I eat on my salad.
Uh,
Uh,
Ranch is
every
my
once in a
ranch is
while, I'll eat Italian dressing on my salad, but that's only
uh
if they don't have ranch.
but you know what? I've been doing a lot of Italian dressing on my subs and everything.
Yeah, it's not the same kind
Uh,
of Italian dressing though. It's
I
just oil and
know.
vinegar with some oregano and pepper.
Well, that is true. Uh, so well, for me, it's blue cheese, fresh onion, Italian dressing, ranch at the bottom. Uh, it's just those four right there, because I don't know what other kind of dressing that is.
That's
And
fine.
you just have ranch.
I mean,
uh,
it's fine.
last
Ranch
but
is
not
fine with
least,
me. Ranch is fine, everybody. It is okay to like ranch
I
dressing.
can I say
No.
I will eat ranch dressing as a dip when I have them buffalo wings, to dip in, and I definitely will have it with carrots. If I'm just eating carrots by itself and I need a sauce, ranch is the one that I'll eat it with. Um,
Hmm. It's fine.
so, uh, other than that, I had some Lay's Cool Ranch uh potato chips. They was only like 30 cents at work. Um, and yeah, that's what I have for snacks in though and
Hmm.
everything. Um,
Look at you. Look at you
so
with the snacks.
yes, yes, I will be back getting like honey buns and Twizzlers and all of that. I will be getting back to that. I just need to find some new ones first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and not all this pumpkin spice.
Hmm. You're not a pumpkin spice girl, there, Ed.
No.
Hmm.
Which reminds me, I have to tell you something after the show.
Oh
You're like,
gosh.
oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I guess for me, so like I said last night, we ate dinner uh for Rosh Hashanah, and we ordered Aladdin's, which is like a Mediterranean place around here, and I got the red curry chicken pita pizza.
Ooh.
It sounds a lot better than it tasted. Um,
Oh.
I was excited too because like red curry chicken is like just kind of like spicy chicken, which I was excited for,
Hmm.
and grilled onions and some banana peppers with some, just on pita, and sounds delicious. But It was like smothered in honey Dijon mustard, and like I like mustard, but like there was a lot. It was a lot. And so I don't know. It just didn't really taste all that good. I was kind of disappointed, but it's all right.
Was it like too sweet or something?
No, it just tasted like the whole thing was made out of mustard.
Ugh.
uh, but I mean, I'll get some. I like Aladdin's. It's just I tried to get something different, and it wasn't
Hmm.
what I thought it was. So you know, just trading it out next time. So had that, and then we had. Sorry, we had this bread that was like
Excuse me.
infused with chocolate, and like it was really good. I don't remember what it was called, but it was delicious, and yeah, it was really good. I wish I knew what it was called. I forget. I could probably ask my wife, but
Yeah. I
it's,
heard of it and I cannot think of it.
it
I
starts
know
with a
what you're talking
B.
about.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
well,
would I would
Corey.
ask her. She's in the other room, but I'm not going to yell because my kids are asleep. Hold on, I'm going to try to look it up.
Okay.
Chocolate
Uh,
bread
oh,
starts with a
also
B.
had some. Also had some Ben and Jerry's, some Sherry Garcia, and some milk and it's called milk and cookies. Uh, from Ben and Jerry's. I had that. I got that one from Target and everything.
Babka. That's what the bread is called.
Ah.
She texted me. Thanks, wife.
Oh.
Oh,
Uh.
man, dude, this weather is like killing me. My eyes are puffy. My nose
Uh.
is stuffy. My
Stuffy.
throat is gross.
Itchy.
Like this weather around here, it's like starting to get to that point where it's like under 60 degrees
Uh-huh.
consistently, and like it's
Yeah.
raining, and just gross fall weather, not nice fall weather, and like my
Uh-huh.
whole above my shoulders area is just gross. So I'm
I
sorry if I'm like breathing
I
weird or coughing or sneezing
Corey,
tonight. Ugh.
Corey,
Yeah.
I'm on the same level. I was sneezing like crazy at work today. It felt like something was tickling my nose all day long, and I just kept sneezing and everything. And I'm like, I know I'm not allergic to anything. What in the heck am I sneezing for?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't coughing or anything. I wasn't doing this yesterday. I was just doing it all today at work, and then uh when I got home, I went to sleep and I got up and it's just like it felt like it was resuming again, and I'm
Yeah.
just like it has to be the change of the weather
It
because
is.
dude, we already had the rain. It was probably like 65 or 70 in the afternoon because it was like warm weather and everything. Uh, and so I don't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't like how I feel, but that's okay. I apologize to everyone listening to this podcast. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking around.
Yes. I forgot to get some NyQuil. I'm probably gonna be
Ugh.
like, look,
Yeah.
I'll take some NyQuil and I'm out. Because I know good and well if I'm coughing like this, like crazy tomorrow at work, yeah, when I get off of work, I'm like, look, I need this, and I will see y'all Wednesday morning. Goop, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Super fun.
but we persist by podcasting about Nintendo
Yeah.
still. And then after the podcast, and we'll fall out dead and come back to life soon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Trying my best, everybody.
yes. Well, everybody, it's time for Playing with Power. Corey, what have you been playing with Power?
Not much, honestly. I've nothing. I mean, nothing new, I should say.
Hmm.
Really, to the extent that I want to, at least. I played. So the one new thing I did play was Shovel Knight Dig, and Man, man, do I not like this game?
Oh no!
I love Shovel Knight. I love the art in this game. I love the characters. I love the writing. I love the story and what the story they're trying to tell. But it is a roguelike to the very end. And everybody knows how I feel about those games. And
Hmm.
I was like, Shovel Knight's gonna be the one that pulls me through one of these. I'm sorry. I can't. I cannot play this game. I do not like it. I want to like it. I want to like it very much. I just do not like it. Uh, the gameplay is very dig dug y, where
Hmm.
like you're just digging down and collecting gems and doing some real basic platforming, and you have to try to get to like a boss and everything. I played for like an hour trying to get through this thing, and I'm just like, "Ugh, I can't do this. I cannot play this game. It's not fun. Uh, Again, it's not that it's a bad game. I'm sure it's a very good game in the style of game that it is. It's just not for me, you know.
Hmm.
So that made me really sad because I really wanted to play a new Shovel Knight game, but this where I'm just gonna have to wait for I guess Mina the Hollower is the next one, right? From Yacht Club, right? That's their Kickstarter
Yes.
game. Uh,
Yes.
so there's that. I hope Mina the Hollower ends up being a Shovel Knight game where she where Mina's just like the mouse in the dungeon of the castle of King Knight's castle, and you find out that set in this Shovel Knight universe. That'd be awesome.
Well, I have a feeling that you said that and it's gonna happen.
Uh huh. Yeah. So I played that. I played some more Link's Awakening, but I just entered the seventh dungeon, so nothing really new there. I did all the extra work before the dungeon, right? Like collecting heart pieces and uh leveling up some stuff and doing the secret seashell stuff and doing some of the mini games just to like do that stuff before I go into the dungeon because I'm trying to 100% it. So I did that, and then I turned on Breath of the Wild again to run around because like been seeing because ever since Tears of the Kingdom was announced, right? Like everybody's talking about Breath of the Wild again. Everybody's talking about Breath of the Wild again, and so
Hmm.
I jumped on it and I was like, I want to play this game again so bad, but it's so big and so daunting, and there are other games coming out that I want to play. Plus, I need to finish all these other Zelda games that I haven't finished. Right, like I want to finish Skyward Sword before this game comes out, and
Dang.
I want to get through Age of Calamity because I am a glutton for punishment apparently. So I ran around and just killed some things and ran around the desert and ran around the snow area, and that was kind of it. Uh, let's see. Other than Nintendo stuff, I went back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey because that's kind of kind of scratches the Breath of the Wild itch, and I still have things to do in that game.
Hmm.
Man, I gotta tell you, man. I know a lot of people hate on Assassin's Creed, but I love that series so much, and I love Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's top 10 game for me all time. That game is awesome.
I don't. I don't think it's a bad game or a bad series. It's just too huge to try
Oh,
to do everything.
I agree. I mean, it's probably literally impossible to do everything in those games unless it's the only game you played for like a year.
Yes, that is true. Completely true.
But,
Yes.
I'm trying to get all the achievements is what I'm trying to do. Uh I don't know how
I need
far
to
I am
look
in
at
that.
the list.
I don't know
I
how
gotta go on my Xbox.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
go
know
ahead.
how far I am in that, but that's what I'm trying to do. And I mean, I'll probably play it for like 10 or 15 hours, and then I'll get bored with it, and then I'll go back 3 months from now and play 10 or 15 hours of it, and that seems to be the cycle of this game. But it sucks because I want to play Valhalla, but I was
Hmm.
like, I'm not touching Valhalla until I finish Odyssey. Well, you know, here we are.
Oh shoot.
Um, yeah, so and then I played some Destiny, did some raiding this weekend, and you know, that's that.
Shoot, I gotta get back into Dead Space. I gotta try to start working on that before uh the new version come out, the new game come out. But then uh Callisto Protocol comes out also. So I know everybody's like, well, it's horror season, it's time to get into spooky games.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, well, I'll
Well,
be
here's the
playing
thing.
spooky games for myself.
I wanted to beat I wanted to beat Link's Awakening. I'm gonna try to do it by the end of the week. Because October I want to play Luigi's Mansion. I never finished Luigi's Mansion 3.
Same,
I only played
same
like
here.
I only played like 2 or 3 hours of it and I liked it and then I never went back to it. Uh
Did you wanna let me know? Cause I'll play it with you.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean I think that's something maybe we should start doing with this show is like at least pick one game to play through together and see
hmm,
what we do or how we have been, whatever. So,
all right.
anyways, what are you playing, Ed?
Yeah. So outside of Nintendo, Aliens Fire Team, I still started playing that to get my character up a level. And I'm really just trying to get my weapons that I got a little bit more powerful, getting the 4 stars. I haven't even bought the DLC yet. So just been playing that. I'm still fighting my next Xbox game, and I'm thinking of getting to Spiritfarer, even though I also own it on Switch. I wonder. I'm just like, and so this is gonna be weird, everybody. So I got iconic class for all 3 systems. I have it for. I beat it on PlayStation 4. I got the physical on Switch, and it was on a good sale on Xbox because they got like 300 plus games on sale. And so I'm like, well, I might as well get iconic class because I think it was like only like $5 or something, $5 or $7. So I got Iconoclast on Xbox. I think I'm going to play it there also. Uh, but I'm thinking of doing Spiritfarer on Switch. Because uh like I said, I'm getting back to Xenoblade, but I've been playing like Splatoon 3, and so I kind of need to mix it up because I kind of want to do more Splatoon 3, have a JRPG going, but also just have something on the other consoles to play, for my next game. Um, Definitely with Splatoon 3, I did contribute in the Splatfest. I was Team Gear, and yes, we won. We took the lead and we won with 25p. We had beat Team Fun because they was leading on the weekend and everything. I just got the roller for the paint thing,
That's my
and of
that was
course,
my favorite in Splatoon 2 was the paint roller.
it was the paint roller. Yeah, Uh, I love it because it serves my needs. I don't care about attacking the other team unless I need to. I care about getting as much as my team paint on. And so, uh, Sunday afternoon, uh, getting into the random battle, uh, we were like half and half almost. So I went to the side and I started paying their whole like left side and everything. So when it ended, we beat them by like 2%. So we had like 47, they have like 45. Uh, and I was just like, yes, because that's my thing. It's just like I know the game is what the game is about, and it's to paint as much of the area that you can while also, fending for yourself against the other players by trying to get theirs taken over. Because I got the award for painting the other team's side too. And I was just like, yes, this is what I love about Splatoon. So just enjoyed that and definitely getting more involved with the single campaign. I just started Salmon Run. Uh, and so I just did only the first part of it, but I'm going to be jumping in. Hopefully, they do matchmaking multiplayer, and I can start shooting other people. Not shooting other people. Doing that mode more and everything because it is quite fun. There's something about the shooting and especially that feels so good. And I like when the enemies pop and everything. That sound effects is nice and crisp and everything. So I'm going to be playing more of that. But like I said, I'm going to get back into Xenoblade. I think Spiritfarer, I think I'm going to jump that onto Switch because I did start it there. Uh, but I think kind of class I'm going to start on my Xbox. And I know Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is coming out. I really want that game for the multiplayer. I mean, not the multiplayer, for the single player. So I'm going to wait for a bit because I still just got tons of stuff of games for my Xbox One days that I need to get done. And I've been thinking of Outriders too. Like, man, do I hop into that and everything? And like I said, Dead Space and stuff that I need to get into and stuff. But that's what I've been playing with Power. Last but not least, everybody kind of just want to show you some things for show and tell. This is my Pikmin shirt that I did get to order and everything. And on the back, they don't show you this, but it does say Pikmin also. Uh, and it feels really good. I love the quality of the t-shirt. I haven't worn it yet or anything because I don't know where I'm going to wear it at just yet. Maybe when I go on vacation. Uh, Last but not least, I finally got the game. If you can't see it, I'm sorry, everybody. Just trying to hold it. It's We Are OFK. This is the physical copy of the game from Iron 8-bit. They also included a papercraft cat that's part of it, and then this Escapade Academy thing. So that is what I got in the mail for my show and tell and everything. I'm still waiting on my Stray for PS4 to come in. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have and I've been playing.
Nice.
So
I
yeah,
I got the physical version of Shovel Knight. The first, well, the entire treasure trove, I guess, would be the
yeah,
correct thing. Which, by the way, if you haven't played Shovel Knight
yes.
or any of its,
So everybody, it's time for
whoa,
Family
whoa,
News.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
what, Corey?
whoa! I was talking.
I'm sorry.
Whoa. Anyways, what I was saying was if you haven't played Shovel Knight or any of its expansions, you should play Shovel Knight and its expansions. Specifically, Spectre Knight and Spectres of Torment
Mm-hmm.
is the best platformer, the best 2D platformer, I think, of maybe last generation. So, just throwing that out there. Snack on that.
Snack, snack, snack.
Okay, Ed, you
All
can
right.
continue now after you so rudely interrupted me.
It's time for Family News. Corey, take it away. Yes.
Okay, I will take it away. All right, Ed. It's time for those Switch Pro rumors again.
Uh,
Nintendo Switch Pro rumor looks legit thanks to an NVIDIA email. Nintendo Switch. Hold on. This is from Tech Radar. Nintendo Switch Pro proves to have been reignited as NVIDIA employees seems to have confirmed the existence of the chip allegedly powering the device. No official announcement of the Nintendo Switch Pro has officially been made as of yet, but an NVIDIA leak posted to the r/gaming leaks and rumors subreddit seems to all but confirm the Tegra 239 SoC system on a chip is real. By way of an email from an NVIDIA employee, the Tegra 239 has been rumored to exist since last year. Twitter tech leaker KOPITE7KIMI not even going to try to pronounce that, originally brought the chip to light in June 2021 when they suggested the next generation Nintendo Switch would be powered by a, quote, customized Tegra 234. This also lines up with the information found in the NVIDIA leak as March this year, which made reference to NVN2, likely the successor to the Switch's NVN graphics API, as well as specific mention of T239 chip. Let's see here. There's no doubt that Nintendo Switch Tegra X1 chip is an aging piece of hardware and certainly isn't the best fit for large-scale games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Commenters in the Reddit thread are largely in agreement that the Tegra 239 would be similarly powered to the PS4, but probably isn't the generational leap you were hoping for, but I imagine it's more palatable for third-party developers and publishers who might find it easier to port their games to the Switch Pro without relying on cloud-based versions. Later on, it goes on to say, for my money, it points to the Switch Pro being a mid-gen upgrade rather than a new console outright, not unlike the PS4 Pro or Xbox One X. I think this would be a right move for Nintendo and lines up with comments made by President Shintaro Furukawa earlier this year that the Switch is in the middle of its life cycle. A potential Switch Pro may still struggle to output 4K resolutions then, but the rumor suggests that it'll come with some tricks up its sleeve to make up for that. The NVN2 leak from earlier this year makes reference to NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling tech, which leverages AI to boost resolutions and frame rates without impacting overall performance. I'm cautiously optimistic about Nintendo Switch Pro's existence now. And let's face it, Nintendo's going to need more powerful hardware for its big heavy hitters like Zelda and Metroid Prime 4. And hey, we might even see a Switch Pro launch alongside Tears of the Kingdom as Twilight Princess did with the Wii and Breath of the Wild did for Switch. Ed, I want to get your thoughts on this. Just keep in mind that everything from that NVIDIA leak from March has come true. Literally every single game leaked there has been announced. What are your thoughts?
I feel like we are getting a Switch Pro. I still don't think don't think that is going to be anytime soon or anything. I have a feeling that with Nintendo, because of the way that they do their art styles, I think if they do an upgrade chip, it may not be much because they don't put out games that's really going to need power to do. They're not putting The Last of Us. They're not putting The Last Guardian, or they're not putting a Forza Horizon 5 or 7. Like, I think we'll get one, but I'm like, it's not going to be such a big increase or anything. If it does happen because of the stuff that's coming out for the game stuff, it'll be a wait and see approach to it, because who knows what Nintendo's going to do. Like, that could be that allegedly could be true by the rumor. But Nintendo could always switch their whole plan. It'd be like, yeah, we were thinking about that, but we're going to go a different way. Look how they did the Sony PlayStation. When they had the Super Nintendo, like, the PlayStation was ready to go for its add-on, and Nintendo straight switched it and went to the CDI with Panasonic. So who knows what Nintendo could be doing at this time? But I feel like we may get an upgrade system. I just don't think we're going to get one anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that the Nintendo Switch Pro is the likely next step. I think, Nintendo Switch is one of the best-selling consoles of all time and is still selling. Like, there's really no signs of slowing down, right? Like, I think that it's been outsold by another console, twice in the last 2 years, right? And
Yes.
and one was last year. It was outsold in September because the OLED was coming out in October, and everybody was waiting for that. So,
Right.
I think the Switch is a monster, and I think they want to keep this train going as long as they can. And I think they want people to double and triple dip, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what better way to do that than offering something that's a little bit more powerful, can run Nintendo games better, offer third parties a more powerful piece of hardware to port games to, and in the DLSS upresing, especially on these nice OLED TVs, right? Like
Yes.
you go play an Xbox game and you can run it at 4K and 120 frames a second, and then you go back down to Switch, which is like somewhere between 900 and 1080p and 30 frames a second, or for a lot of these bigger games. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
granted, you can get Mario Odyssey or Mario Kart or Yoshi's Crafted World or something like that to run at 60 frames, no problem, in 1080, right? They've nailed
Yes.
those smaller games, but like these bigger games, like Xenoblade would look awesome in 4K at 60 frames, and so would Zelda.
Yeah.
And so implementing that tech into a Switch Pro would definitely, because like out of all the companies, Nintendo is the company that is doesn't need the graphical powerhouse of an Xbox or a PlayStation, right?
No.
Now, granted, would it be cool? Yeah. Would we want a Zelda that looks like Horizon? I would. But like Nintendo's already set the expectation that we probably aren't going to get that anytime soon, right? And so with what they have and what they're producing and what they're putting out and their choice of art style and their ability to optimize for their own hardware, right? Like
Right.
Nintendo's the master at doing that. So giving them just a little bit more power to make the games run as intended or better would be awesome. And so my thought is that the Switch Pro is probably coming next fall. I mean, I don't like I as much as I would like it to launch alongside Breath of the or Tears of the Kingdom. Gosh, I keep calling it Breath of the Wild too. By
I
the way,
know.
Nintendo Life had an article go up the other day. It says, "Sorry, Nintendo, people can't stop calling Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild too." It's just what we've been calling it that for so long.
Yeah.
That it just like it's hard to make the switch. No pun intended.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, my thought was like, I think it will probably come out next fall. I mean, that just seems to be the cadence the Switch is on, right? You had the launch Switch obviously in March, but then like 2019 fall, you had the upgraded version 1 Switch with the better battery and, a
Mm-hmm.
couple hardware changes and the Switch Lite, right? So there's your iteration. 2021, you have the OLED Switch, right? With a couple changes, no real noticeable changes to the visually, but like parts, components, some of them have changed a little bit. 2023 Switch Pro, I think because I still think the Switch Pro was intended for the for the OLED, and they didn't have enough units to meet demand. They didn't have enough parts to put these things into full production
Mm-hmm.
because they probably want to have like 1 million to 1.5 million units at launch, right? Just to get them
Yes.
out into the stores. So that's my guess. Switch Pro, I'm guessing next fall, and I would love it.
Uh,
Give me
yeah,
Joy Cons with a D-pad,
we'll, we'll see what happens.
or
We'll see
or
what
better
happens.
yet, give me a Switch that the Joy Cons don't detach. I know that's never going to happen because the Joy Cons are too big of a product, and they're going to make special edition ones for Zelda and Metroid and Mario and Donkey Kong and Fire
And
Emblem
we'll be,
and whatever other
and
games
we'll
they
be
come out.
like, we'll be like, I need that one. Here's my money. I need that
Yeah.
one. Here's my money.
But the problem is like they sell these special edition Joy Cons, but they sell them with the special edition console. Like the
Yes,
Splatoon ones, they're cool, but you can only get them with the Splatoon OLED or like the Animal
hmm
Crossing ones, right?
that is
Like it's just
that is true.
like they made the detachable controllers that would be so simple to just sell separately, and they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. You know. Anyways, Ed, we're
Yes.
gonna next story here. This is probably the story we should have led with, but I wanted to talk about the Switch Pro because, well,
We'll
reasons.
see what happens. We'll, we'll see what happens in the future.
uh, E3 is returning, as we all know, but they announced dates. This comes from Game Informer. E3 2023 dates announced. We'll have separate industry and public days. Thank you. This is what we've been saying all along.
Hmm.
If they want it to be a public event, they need to have separate industry days and they need to have public days. They made the right decision. Let's see here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let's see. Let me find the E3 2023 takes place at the Los Angeles Convention Center from Tuesday, June 13th through Friday, June 16th. This is a week-long event. Digital presentations such as annual press conferences held by first and third-party publishers take place a couple days before, beginning June 11th. So June 11th through June 16th, we're getting a whole week instead of just 3 days, which is great. Which tells me, so the ESA also stated that the show will feature separate admission days for the industry professionals and general public. E3 business days designated for developers, publishers, and press and media take place June 13th through the 15th. Media registration opens in December. June 15th and 16th will host E3 Gamer Days, where fans will be admitted to the show floor. There's no date for public registration at this time. Since E3 first opened its doors to the fans in 2017, professionals and the public have largely intermingled for the entirety of the show, which has caused issues in terms of crowd traffic. Okay, so this is a good thing. I think they're finally getting it right. I know they hired the company. I forget what the company is called, but they hired the company that does.
Repop.
Yeah, they hired them to do this. The same company that puts on PAX every year, and
Yeah.
so
So it says, one thing, Corey. The once annual event is now being run by Repop, which is behind other popular events such as PAX East and West, New York Comic Con, and Star Wars Celebration. Repop previously promised that the next show will be a return to form. The 2023 show is returning to the Los Angeles Convention Center, and fans and industry members will have a little more space to breathe as the event will be split into separate, like you said, business and gamer days.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I think this is a good idea. Oh, it's right there. It's literally in the next paragraph. Uh, I think this is a good thing to have separate industry days
Uh-huh.
versus public days. I know a lot of media. I mean, I don't know if it's right or not, but they were getting frustrated because they couldn't get to appointments because it was so busy because the public was there. And the public was frustrated because media kept cutting them to get to their whatever. And so I think
Appointments and stuff.
by separating them, I think you cut a lot of distractions, you cut a lot of the drama and a lot of the negativity that surrounds the work portion of this event. Um,
Hmm.
Plus obviously the uh, the press conferences will take place 2 days before, which it's just I think this is just good overall. Uh, E3 seems to be taking the right step forward, even if it's a little too late, but it's still a step in the right direction.
Well, my question for this is that because I think a lot of gamers going to be felt robbed that they don't really get to spend because the thing about it is they don't get to spend enough time playing these games. Like I only got 2 days, but they got 3 days plus or something. So I feel like they're going to get the more experience of E3 and I won't because if I want to play the Nintendo games and there's a long line, if I would have to skip most of all the Nintendo stuff to hop into Microsoft and Sony if they there or any third party or Indian stuff. Like
Yeah, but that's
whoever's
how
gonna
these
be there,
conventions. That's how these conventions are, right? Even PAX. When I went
yeah.
to PAX, like I stood in line for Nintendo for like an hour and a half, right? Because that's just how these conventions are. You can't. There's no way to do everything at these conventions. right? You
Yes.
have to really plan it out and pick. I would say, unless you're like a huge fan of indies, right?
Hmm.
Which those booths, like, they're not, those booths aren't really that crowded a lot of the time. Like, you could probably hit
Yes.
the whole indie section in one day, right? But like, if you like, when I went to PAX, there was three major sections I wanted to hit, right? I wanted to hit the Microsoft booth. Now, granted, I went 2 days, so I got to do both, but like, I dedicated one whole day. I'm like, I need to see the Nintendo stuff, right? So I went and stood
Yes.
in line at the Nintendo booth, and it was I was one of the first people there, and I still probably stood in line for over an hour, right?
Well,
What?
oh, go ahead. Oh no, and that's the thing about it. I think people are going to be doing that, but they're just like they know that if everybody has that same plan of trying to spend that particular day on Nintendo,
Uh huh.
man, a lot of stuff is going to get missed because people want to know, Nintendo, what do you have for us? Because you
Right.
got these games playable.
Well, that's, I mean, that's just you're gonna have to make that choice. I mean,
Hmm.
I know like a lot of people are gonna be angry because they don't get to see everything, but I just think people need to understand that this is the way these conventions work, and Nintendo's booth is always the most popular. At every single event Nintendo attends,
Hmm.
their booth is the most popular, hands down. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to choose: do I want to see Nintendo's stuff, or do I want to hit two or three other booths? You know, because like the second day I was there, like I hit the Microsoft booth, I hit the Final Fantasy 14 booth, I hit the Blizzard booth, like I hit like four or five major booths on the second day. Whereas the first day I was at PAX, and it was a weekday, so like it was slower anyway. I only got to see the Nintendo stuff and some of the indie stuff. So again, and this was PAX, and we're talking about E3, so you're
Yes.
definitely, if you want to see the Nintendo stuff, this is, if you go for one day, this is probably the only thing you're going to see, you know. So
Right.
I think separating the media from the public, I think, is going to cut down on that traffic a little bit and make it a little bit easier for people to see other things. But
Mhm.
if you are one of those people going to E3, I you're gonna have to pick like one or two things you want to see, because that's probably all you're gonna see.
Right. And I understand for the business side that they want to be able to talk to everybody, and they want to get the coverage out there. So of course, talking to developers, having private meetings, playing their games or watching the videos or whatever, that's going to take a lot of work for a lot of those publishers. I mean, not publishers, for a lot of those journalists. Um, and business partners, depending on who's doing the coverage and everything. For a lot of like smaller people who are doing coverage and everything, like for them to have those 2 other days, man, that's going to be a lot of work because like, how do we cram everything that these other journalists and media have? How do we cram it all into that? You pretty much gonna have a big team. He'd be like, someone stays in Nintendo, someone covers this, someone covers that. I know, and we're gonna speak about this because this is part of our doc mode. Uh, we still are going to be watching it, And I was thinking about this. I was just like, man, is Treehouse is going to be back at E3 doing Treehouse Live?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I could honestly say I am excited for E3 coming back.
Anyways,
Uh,
E3 coming back. Be excited. I'm sure we'll
June
cover
June
it.
11th is what, Sunday?
June 11th,
I
I
think it
think, is a
is.
Sunday, because the first day of the media day will be the Nintendo Direct, probably, and then the media will see Treehouse, right? That's usually how it
Okay,
goes. So,
yeah. So I think Microsoft is probably Sunday. Then Ubisoft.
Microsoft always goes Sunday night. Always. Never fails. Sony probably won't be there. Uh, Ubisoft will probably have some sort of presentation, right?
Hmm.
Square Enix will probably have something. So, yeah, I guess, be excited for E3. It's coming back. Yay.
Yes, I'm excited.
I know. I'm excited to watch the press conferences. I don't really. I think I've just decided that I don't care about the event itself. I just care about the press conferences.
I've always cared about E3, trying to get prepared for it.
I
Hating
mean,
that
we
work
we've done a.
interferes at times.
I mean, we've done a lot of E3, right? I mean, we've done a lot of
Hmm.
watch-alongs and you know talkovers and whatever else, right? During
Yeah.
our time podcasting, I think the last couple times E3 just hasn't been around. I know it's been a little bit more sporadic in terms of Jeff Keighley's thing, and then Gamescom, and then random presentations throughout the summer. And I think E3 is just like the beacon where people point to it and say this is where everything needs to happen. And I'm sure Summer Game Fest will happen after E3, right? Like it did that one year, but like I don't know, man. I'm just excited for games. I'm excited to watch the presentations. I don't care where they're at. I don't care who's talking about them.
Mhm.
I'm excited for games. I'm excited to talk about more games. I'm excited to see what games are coming.
Yes, same here.
Speaking of games that are coming, Ed,
Uh,
the new Detective Pikachu game is closing in on a release. So, this story's from IGN. My bet, Ed, is that this game will be shown at the Pokemon Presents in November, or whatever, like the main Pokemon Presents right before Violet and Scarlet come out, whether it's the end of October, early November.
uh-huh.
This is going to be part of that. And this is going to be the whatever the January, February, March Pokemon game usually is. Right, because we got what Pokemon Mystery Dungeon one year, we got Arceus this year,
We got Arceus this year. Dungeon was last year in
and then
February.
Pokemon Snap 2 years ago.
Yes.
So like this is going to be that spring Pokemon game. I'm telling you, February, March, April, this game is coming out. So
Well, we
let me
get to the
let me let
story.
me read the
We'll
story.
discuss after.
Let me read the story, and then we will. Which I'm actually shocked they never ported that first game to from 3DS.
That's what we're going to talk about.
But all right, though just a small update, it's pretty much all we've heard about the game since it was first announced in 2019. The Pokemon Company confirmed at the time that it wouldn't just be a port or re-release of the original 3DS game, but its own fully fledged sequel. Not to be confused with the hit film, but essentially following the same story, Detective Pikachu is a cinematic adventure game that follows protagonist Tim on a journey to find his father in Rhyme City. That movie, very good, by the way. Players travel around solving crimes, meeting trainers and Pokemon from all generations as they go. It's definitely one of the more unique takes in the series, featuring a loudmouth talking Pikachu instead of the usual cute and calm version. The Pokemon Company has continued to break expectations of what a Pokemon game can be, though, most recently doing so with the release of Legends Arceus. In our 8 out of 10 review of the 3DS game, IGN said Detective Pikachu gives great insight into the world of Pokemon through its fun mysteries and wonderful coffee-loving lead. So yeah, how do you feel, Ed, about a Detective Pikachu game on the Switch?
I am excited. I love detective games. I love mystery. I never got to play the first Detective Pikachu, and I have a feeling Pokemon Company is being sneaky that we're going to get that first one ported to Switch before the second one comes out. Now, I don't disagree with you that this game is not coming out next year in spring, because this would literally be a great. I feel like a great February game right after Fire Emblem.
My only thing
Engage.
though is that Switch is getting 2 huge games in February, actually 3, I think. And so I wouldn't want to put it there, even though it's a Pokemon game
Uh
and will sell more copies than either of those games. because you need to fill the space. You need to fill the March and April gaps before Breath of
before
the Wild in May.
Tears of the Wild. Before Tears of the Wild. Tears
New
of the Kingdom.
Pokemon Snap came out in April. I'm circling April for this.
I would say March.
So let's see. I'm gonna.
Because when is the Kirby game?
February. It's Kirby,
So
Octopath Traveler, and Atelier Ryza 3 are all coming out within. I think on the same day they're all coming out.
Oh, good googly moogly. That's $180 of craziness. Okay, so if we're thinking about 2023, according to you, Corey, we have Fire Emblem Engage in January, Kirby, and I'm just talking about first party. Kirby in February. We have nothing in March yet. Pokemon Detective Pikachu in April. Tears of the Kingdom in May, if no delay.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
Wait, what'd you say in April? Did you say anything in April? What'd you say in April?
Detective Pikachu 2.
And what did you say April was in March?
We know nothing in March. We have nothing in March. First party.
Yeah. So February has Atelier Ryza, Octopath Traveler 2, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Theater Rhythm, and those are the major Switch games for February.
Right. And I'm just going for first party because if Nintendo has to do another Nintendo Direct for this year to say, what we're thinking about winter more for 2023 and stuff like that, whatever. If they have to give us something for March, which I don't, as much as I could say the Mario Kart DLC would be good enough, I don't think it would be strong enough to really fill that March void. Like, someone has to give something. There has to be a big title. Unless Microsoft and Sony are going hard in March, then Nintendo could rest.
Well, let's see. March, the only thing announced in March is the Resident Evil 4 remake right now. Well, according to Game Informer, I don't know how up to date this list is, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a lot. February is the month to be like, oh boy. Right.
It's literally packed with too much.
Yeah. So January, January is Fire Emblem, Dead Space remake, and Forspoken. That's January. February is Dead Island 2, which I know some people are excited for. Not sure about that one. Hogwarts Legacy, Theater Rhythm, Like a Dragon, Ishin, which is the Yakuza spinoff game. Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Octopath Traveler 2, and the big one for me is Destiny 2 Lightfall. And then March is Resident Evil 4. But I feel like there's been more announced for stuff for that time frame.
So we did get some stuff that's 2023. I think we just haven't got the actual knockout date.
Right, because you got to remember, Starfield and Redfall for Microsoft are coming in that time space as well. Right. Forza Motorsport's probably coming in that space. Sony probably has another first-party game in Q1, right?
Is Redfall and Starfield for January and February, or have
they don't have months yet? It's just they said Q1 of 2023.
Okay, because I thought Redfall would be coming out. I think Starfield's supposed to come out first and then Redfall.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to watch that whole presentation all over.
But sometime before April, right? You're supposedly going to have Street Fighter 6. Let's see, Alan Wake 2, Suicide Squad, Stalker 2, which got delayed, Diablo 4. I'm just looking at the list here of first half of 2023 video games, right? You have that Black Myth Wukong game, which looks pretty good.
Dang it.
Ayuden Chronicles.
we literally forgot Persona.
Yeah,
Because
Persona
even though
4
Persona,
Golden, I'm assuming, will probably come out sometime in there, right?
yeah, because I think because Nintendo could literally push that for because if Nintendo could push that, even though it's coming out for Xbox also, if they could push Golden 4, or 4 Golden for March, dude, Nintendo is literally straight. Throw in the Vest Wars now
Yeah, Advance
to
Wars is the
to
big one.
to literally ruin everybody. I think what we were talking about Twilight Princess in March.
I mean,
We was thinking,
originally, yeah, we were before before Breath of the Wild 2 got a release date.
hey, if they throw out some kind of Zelda game out there,
Mm-mm.
because like I said, Nintendo is
They're not
sneaky.
going to put Zelda out 2 months before Zelda. They're not. They're not. Don't even bring it up. Don't even have a conversation. They're not doing
I'm
it.
just saying. I'm
Nope.
just saying Nintendo's sneaky.
Nintendo's not thinking that. So stop it.
I'm saying being sneaky.
No,
Because
no. Look, Detective Pikachu and Advance Wars are probably going to fill the March and April spots, right?
yes,
That seems
like
really because then you'll have a first party game every month through May, plus a couple
mhm,
heavy hitters like Octopath and uh, Riza and Minecraft Dungeons or Legends is probably in there somewhere. Diablo 4, Persona. So like, dude, your Q1, your
dude,
first half of 2023 is already huge, and haven't even really announced anything yet.
they could do Captain Toad Treasure Tractor 2. They could do
No, we're
Yoshi's
talking
Crafted
about things
World
that
2.
are announced right now. We're
I'm
not talking
just,
about
I'm just, I'm just saying.
no,
I'm just
no,
saying. I was just saying
no.
that they could really feel something. They could feel March with something that we don't know, and I think because of those being small games before these two other big games, or well, Detective Pikachu 2 is not too big or anything,
They're still gonna
but
charge you
it's a
sixty
good.
dollars for it.
Oh, of course, yes, it's a Pokemon company's Nintendo.
Big enough to charge
Uh,
$60.
no, but I think they could charge that price, but it's like it's not a big high level like well known game or something. But I think people will be interested because they like Pikachu and they kind of want to see what the story goes on with it before Tears of the Kingdom drop. Because everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Detective Pikachu, let me play it, run through it, finish it. Okay, let me get ready for all my Zelda stuff before this drops and everything."
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna put out a bunch of shorter games right before then, like first party wise, like a
Hmm.
bunch of shorter games because they know everybody's gonna be playing Zelda all summer.
Yes.
Although, like, I wouldn't put it past them to put out a game in June and July, right? Like, I mean, look, like, I bet they put some. I bet whatever this next direct is, they will have stuff through. Obviously, May. Zelda's the last major game before E3 now, right?
Yes.
So Nintendo's going to have a. I bet they will probably announce some sort of new, like a smaller game slash remaster slash remake for June, right? To fill the
Hmm.
June spot. And it will come out during or right after E3 because they're going to want to demo it at E3. But
Yes.
then after that, we know nothing. We know nothing after Zelda. So E3 is going to be Nintendo's coming out party for 2023.
It's literally
I like how we got
so
I like how we circle back to E3 by talking
yeah.
about
Well,
Detective
because
Pikachu.
because
What?
because right now, because literally right now, Corey, Metroid Prime 4 is the latest to lead E3. There is I'm just talking about at this point
Mhm.
because we don't know nothing until we see the Game Awards, until we
Right.
see of there's another Nintendo Direct. We know nothing now.
I know.
If
I
because
mean, this is the
now
first time. This is gonna. I mean, until the next direct, which I'm assuming will be either January or February,
mhm,
somewhere in there, like December or January. I'm guessing January or February. I haven't looked up because like there's been a Nintendo Direct every January or February since the Switch has come out. I don't know
Yes.
which month it is, but like they're gonna have their lineup, kind of laid out in that direct, right?
Hmm.
Up through up through E3, and then after Zelda comes out, this is the first time in a long, long, long time where there's like the only, like you said, the only game that we know of after Zelda is Metroid.
Yeah.
And so I think that with the return of E3, Nintendo will be at E3. There's going to be a huge Nintendo's first huge Nintendo Direct, first
Hmm.
huge E3 Nintendo Direct for a long time. It's going to be full of new games, and there's a ton of
Because
games rumored too, right? Like that Donkey Kong game was rumored. We did a whole
yeah,
expansion pass on this at one point, I think.
because
And
definitely it would be the next Mario game. They have no choice but to do that.
not necessarily, not
You think they will
necessarily.
hold on to it?
No,
Not for
well,
E3?
I mean, remember that Mario team is supposedly working on a 3D Donkey Kong platformer. So I don't know unless a secondary team is doing a Super Mario Super Mario 3D World 2, which would be awesome. But
Oh, sure, I'll take that.
I mean, I think the next Mario game is going to be based off of Bowser's Fury, right? Like they're doing some sort of
Mm.
open world Mario game, and that was their test bed. And so I think Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury was the new Mario, the second new Mario game on this platform. Theoretically, even though Bowser's Fury was only like 3 to 5 hours long. I
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was your holdover until the next Mario game, which is
Okay.
probably, I would say, 2024 at the earliest.
Because I know they're going to be focused on the Mario movie until that comes out, but
Well, that's your
like,
Mario release for 2023 is the Mario movie.
but everybody going to be wanting the game. Like, since
Well, that's fine, but
2017.
there's plenty. Look, there's three huge Mario games on the Switch already, right? You got Mario Odyssey, you got new Super Mario Brothers U. I know it's a
Hmm.
re-release, and you got Super Mario 3D World, which is the best 3D Mario game, plus Bowser's Fury.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have Mario Kart, you have
Platforming
Mario
everybody.
Parties. There's a lot. There's a lot of Mario on the Switch already. And I
Yeah,
know
but
that
it's just,
I know that Mario games sell, and I'm sure we'll get another Mario sports title next year, which will probably be your June release as a Mario sports title. It's small enough to release during it's big enough to where people will like get it and buy it, but
mhm,
small enough to where you could release it during E3 and like it wouldn't matter, right?
yes.
It's an easy game to demo at Treehouse. That's I'm calling it Mario sports game. Bet it's basketball. Sorry, you Sluggers fans. It's probably basketball. Actually, I don't really care what it is.
You know what?
uh, no, but it's going to be a Mario sports game for June, and yeah, I don't know. Man, wouldn't it be cool though if it was something like a wave race or Pilot Wings? Yeah, that'd be cool. Not Arms 2, Ed. Shut up. I see you. I see you thinking Arms 2. I see it in your. uh, no, but I mean, man, I think Nintendo is in a really good position to blow out the second half of 2023 with a
Yes.
huge direct, huge new announcements. You know, because everything that's been released this year was revealed in February, right? At the
Yeah.
February
Huh?
direct, and so I mean, not that there's nothing to be excited about the rest of the year, but we know everything, and we'll know everything at the next direct probably also.
Which gives us an idea of how strong their lineup is. And literally that's why E3 I feel like for Nintendo is we're gonna talk like I said, that's all dark mode stuff that we'll talk
Hmm.
about.
I mean, we might as well just talk about it now. We're already here, and there's no more news.
Okay.
Except for
Well,
except for Ted Lasso and AFC Richmond is being added to FIFA, including the Switch
oh,
version, which is super tempting to buy because I love Ted Lasso. But I'm not going to. I'm going to hold on. Anyways, Ed,
Yes.
bring us to doc
Everybody,
mode.
it's Doc Mo time. With news of E3 coming back June 13 to 16, can you see all three companies come back in their own way? And will Nintendo bring anything new? In fact, will Nintendo still be the one showcase everybody will be in anticipation to see? Are you ready,
Yes.
Elite Block agents? Let's go! Sorry,
Okay.
I had to read it because we were already in a discussion. Corey, I, I,
Sony's not coming back. Sony's not coming back.
I really wish they would. I
I
really wish,
look, I do
like,
too, but they won't because they're Sony and they I this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it to be. This is just how it seems to
mhm.
be shaping up. Sony it views themselves as a prestigious, high quality. Our games are $70. They're better than everybody else's. We're going to do our own event. We're going to do our own state of play to show you what we have coming. And it's going to either be the week before or the week after because they want the media attention all to themselves. You put your presentation at E3. You're jumbled in with everybody else. The media attention on you is only going to be for about 90 minutes or until the next company goes. And that's why Nintendo always goes last, and that's why Nintendo has Treehouse the whole
Mhm.
next 2 days. It's because they keep that constant media attention on them. Sony doesn't have anything comparable to Treehouse. So what they'll do, they'll have a 30 to 60 minute state of play.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say that they just coming together for the presentation that they could just do their state of play and bam, that's it. They don't
Yeah,
have to say
but
no
it's not
more
going to be
until we
during
have it.
E3. It's going to be before. I think the last time E3 was here, they did it a week or two before.
Yes. Yeah, they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
They because
I think
I
it
think
was
they
that
did it
May.
like in May.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was that last week of May. Because I remember the Pokemon Presents was like a couple days after, I think,
Hmm.
that year, if I'm remembering correctly. And
Yeah,
so
I think so.
and like Microsoft loves the E3 stage. I mean, like technically they're not E3 because they own the Nokia Theater, right? so, uh, but I think Microsoft likes to be present because they're still playing catch up, and I think any goodwill that they can do, they will do. Uh, and being at a convention like E3, being on the show
Hmm.
floor, that kind of thing, getting the Xbox in people's hands. That's what they want to do. That's what they've been trying to do for years, and hopefully, hopefully they will have some games to show, like Hellblade, like uh, Outer Worlds 2, Avowed. I'm sure Starfield or Redfall, whichever one is the latest release, will be there.
Contraband, whatever the heck that
Contraband.
is.
Uh, I mean, what the last time we talked about Microsoft on something, like they have something like 30 plus games announced. State of Decay 2, Grounded just got their 1.0
Three.
release, right? So, yeah, 3. Sorry. The Stalker 2. Like they have so many games, Fable, Perfect Dark, Forza, uh, amongst other games. Like
Right.
they need to get people's hands on these games, and so they're going to be there. They're going to have a huge presence, and Nintendo's just going to be Nintendo. They're going to come out not 9 a.m. Pacific time. They're going to trot out Koizumi out there. Hello, I'm Koizumi. I'm going to lead you through the direct today, right? Like with their very unemotional translator, and take you through their big announcements. And I think, and I think unless Microsoft comes out with something brand new, like I don't even think a Gear 6 announcement would garner the excitement that because like
I don't even think they need a Gear 6 announcement. If
no,
they want to,
they need Gear
that's
6. You shut your mouth.
I don't think they need a Gear 6. I think right now Microsoft just needs to get games out on their Series
No,
X.
my thing is that
Or
my thing is people need to see more than just a cinematic trailer to these games, right?
yes.
Which I want to see gameplay for Fable. Fable's probably my in terms of Xbox exclusives right now that are announced.
Hmm.
Fable 2 and Hellblade 2 are or Fable Fable and Hellblade 2 are probably my most anticipated games from Microsoft right now. Uh, Especially if Hellblade is going the direction they're kind of saying it's going, bigger, more God of War esque game where like you go to these different realms and it's more than a 6 hour experience, right? Like
Hmm.
that's the kind of game I want Hellblade to be, and I think it's shaping up to be that way. I don't know if you follow Ninja Theory on Instagram
Uh-uh.
or what's her name? Melina Jurgens, who plays Senua on Instagram, but like the things that they're showing off on Instagram, they're very open about the development. It looks this game's going to be epically huge, I feel like. And
It's
I'm not saying like Witcher or Assassin's Creed huge, but I'm saying like God of War action and storytelling. I
it's
think
gonna
this game's going
be
to be there.
the- it's gonna be emotional, but very theatrical in a
Yeah.
sense. Like it's gonna have
It's going to
big
be pretty
presence for it.
cinematic, I think.
Yeah, and see, I love Ninja Theory. Trust me, I really do love Ninja Theory. I think they are a great company. I'm still wild that Microsoft bought them, but that was a good deal for both companies, because I think Microsoft needed them. Hellblade 2, Hellblade 2 is something I'm kind of stepping away from as much as I want to see it and I want to play. I just want it to be I don't want to watch a lot of stuff and then get it and be let down. So I'm trying to hold I think that's one of the games that I'm like I have I have expectations for it, but my expectations are is held back until I actually get it in my hands. I love seeing the trailers. I love what they're producing out. I just want that game to be in my hands because I know Ninja Theory is so good and they deserve the recognition, uh, recognition I should say, uh, for their work and everything.
Hmm.
Uh, and
Yeah.
so I that's kind of the thing about it. I feel like E3, like they could still do inside Xbox or whatever throughout the year or before the game release, but I think E3 for Xbox is going to be really big, and I'm cool with Nintendo falling back this year for E3. I'm not even worried that if they do anything big or major
Well,
or get
they have to
excited.
do something because we don't know anything that's coming after Zelda. Like we just don't. They have to do
Mhm.
something.
But
Whether I
I
mean
think
whether
they.
you want them to do something or not, like
Mhm.
they have to regardless, unless they just don't go to E3, which they've already said they're not missing E3, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think Zelda is or I think Nintendo is going to they're bringing all their heavy hitters, especially if the Switch Pro rumor is what they're saying it is, right? Like you want new games, big beefy games to show off your new console that's supposedly coming out next fall, right? And so you're going to bring Donkey Kong, you're going to bring Metroid, you're going to bring an upgraded version of Zelda. You're going to bring, you know, whatever else you can bring to show off this thing, right? The Metroid Prime remasters maybe or Zelda remasters or whatever else you can bring to show off whatever this new console is, and you want to show it off with big new games, right? I think you're going to see that Donkey Kong game that's been rumored, and I think you're going to see the Metroid Prime remaster and Metroid Prime 4 re-revealed.
See, I feel like with Nintendo, I think we'll definitely get a Metroid Prime 4. I think we'll probably see more Pikmin 4. I think we'll definitely see more. I think we'll see something Mario related. Um, we probably will see something maybe rare. Maybe Microsoft and Nintendo got something in store. Maybe Sony and Nintendo got something in store. Um, which reminds me that MLB the show. I'm assuming that's coming out next year. Uh, which hasn't been announced yet, but I could probably see that being shown
What's being
before
shown?
E3.
What'd you say?
MLB the show, the next
Oh,
one.
yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
All right. I think we'll probably see some small games and stuff and everything. Like I think Nintendo for E3 this year, I, they're probably gonna be like, we really need to shut up and like, just let everybody say their rumors with their thoughts or anything, and just wait for E3 to blow it out. I just feel like this E3, I think even though I am all for Nintendo, I think my expectation for Nintendo is just like it's already going to be met because whatever they present, I'm going to be excited for, be ready to buy. I think
Hmm.
Microsoft needs this
Get ready
E3
for 3 new
more.
Kirby games, by the way.
Oh the
What if that's their
Texas, I'm
What if
going to
that's their big game at E3 is just another Kirby game? A
I
bunch of 2D square RPGs in Kirby. That's
I
and
I
some
will
farming
get
sims because we don't have enough of
my
those.
my phone would just keep going off from you. How many texts can Corey give Eddie within 5 minutes throughout the whole trailer? Uh, no,
Oh,
but I feel like I literally feel like Microsoft needs this E3 more than Nintendo. And the reason being is because I'm not saying Microsoft is in a bad position, but like I said, they need something that's going to support the Series X and S, their next gen, their current gen system. I think Nintendo is just going to wow us with so much. I feel like we're going to be overwhelmed because even with this past Nintendo Direct, it's very overwhelming having 49 plus some games. And
hmm.
then drop on top of Nintendo can start dropping GameCube NSO, DS NSO, Game Boy Advance NSO.
That's another
Sega
thing.
could be
Yeah.
Sega could be like, here go the Sega Saturn NSO, here go the Dreamcast, here go the Sega CD. Like here go our games. Oh, guess what? Let's bring back the TurboGrafx. Let's bring this system out. Let's bring that. Like Nintendo could literally
I
go
forgot.
buck wow
TurboGrafx would
at
be an
it.
interesting system to bring to.
And they did. And don't forget, they sold TurboGrafx games on for the Wii U Virtual Console.
Yeah.
So Nintendo could go buck wild for E3 this year, which will blow Microsoft and Sony and whatever else everybody, because that's going to be the talk of the town, uh, and everything. I just feel like for right now, my focus for E3 is going to be more on Microsoft. Nintendo, do whatever you want to do because I'm not. I feel like I'm not going to come away disappointed or anything. I think my thing is, Corey, get online. Corey, I'm calling you now. If you go to the bathroom, if you at work, like I'm going to be talking, be like, what was that? What was that? Why did? How many times have I told you Nintendo acted a fool for a direct or an E3 or something? If we haven't like did any kind of recording or anything, or like if we're literally texting and we both seen it, we're like, okay, they went buck wild. They went crazy on this. They're doing this, and this releasing at this point in time. How we going how we gonna pay for all this and everything? Like Nintendo could go buck. Like I said, I know I'm using buck wild. Everybody crazy. I'm sorry, but they can't do that for E3.
Hmm.
Like everybody could be disappointed at their spring direct if they want to. Okay, fine. But if they clown at E3, they're not even going to be talking about that spring direct. Even I always feel like even when Nintendo has a bad direct, people are still talking about it. There's still something about it that they're thoroughly enjoy and gonna be looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Heck,
mean, there's.
you may get your shovel night too at this direct.
Uh, I mean, maybe I do know. I do know that they're working on a 3D game, right? They kind of announced
Mhm.
that they are running a new engine that's going to power their next game, which is 3D after Mina. So, I hope it's Shovel Knight 64. I hope that's what it is, or something like. I hope it's Shovel Knight, man. Like, if it's not a Shovel Knight game, I'm gonna be really sad. I just feel like
Hmm.
that character has it's just been such a wasted opportunity, you know. I just feel like they spent so much time doing the DLC for Shovel Knight that like they didn't get to what. Not that the DLC is bad or anything. I think the DLC is awesome. I think some of it's the best. I think a lot of it is actually better than Shovel Knight, the base game. It's just like, man, I just really want more Shovel Knight in a 3D capacity, and I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I really don't know how that turns out, but man, Shovel Knight. I want a 3D Shovel Knight game. Even if it's like, even if they do something with Platonic, right? Like, I mean, Platonic
Hmm.
did that, had him in, uh, had Shovel Knight and Ukulele, right? And that was so cool to see him in like 3D and like what you would imagine a 3D Shovel Knight would look like. But man, so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want that, like really bad.
Well, Corey, are you ready for a question block?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do some question block. Uh, let me open the doc here because I haven't uh really had it open this whole time. So whoops. Opening question block. All right, our
Oh
first
goodness.
question of question
Sorry,
block.
I'm sorry, I had to come down from that E3 conversation
Uh,
because I kind of want because I'm just like let's
I
continue this
mean,
expression
it's
past
hold.
another day.
By the way, like, how do all of our conversations just come down to like predicting Nintendo's lineup for like from X date to Y date, and then it's always wrong.
Because we get into it, we have hope sometimes. But then hold on, but then Corey, the stuff that you say, even though it may not happen at that certain time, it always happen in the future. And I'd be like, dang it, how is Corey right? Like, like why did this try? I'm not that right all the time. Sometimes you'll be like, what if they did this? And then like a year later it happens. Be like, dang it.
I know things, Ed. I know things. I've got connections. Oh boy. All right. Let's get into question block. Remember, you can tweet at Powblock Podcast or email us at nintendopowblock@gmail.com or go to our Discord and leave your question in the podcast discussion thread. Ed, our first question comes from our friend of show. We love him. I wish he was here every week. Grayson Morales. He asks, "Have you
Ooh,
ever?"
I got I gotta say, congratulations, Graysons, on getting your Switch OLED. He
Yeah,
ordered one.
yeah. Isn't it the best? Aren't you so happy you just took the plunge, Grayson? Aren't you just
Yes.
man? It's just like looking at the Switch for the first time again. You know, it's just so beautiful. It's a wonderful machine. Cherish it. Those beautiful colors. I'm sure you're playing Splatoon on it. Just watch the colors pop. You know, just watch them.
Yes.
So nice.
Let them bloom. Okay, go ahead.
Have you ever gotten any games stolen by friends or kids in school? I had a kid keep my Pokemon Emerald guide, and I once had my first Game Boy taken from me in school, and it had Pokemon Gold in it. Oh no.
Oh no.
I
So
wouldn't. Hmm.
can I go, Corey?
Yeah, because I don't really have any. Because I never really had. I let my cousin borrow a couple games once, and he kept them, right, like some Dreamcast games before, but uh, I never really took my stuff to school because I didn't want it to get stolen. So I mean that was me, and also like I never really shared anything with my friends unless they came over and we played together because I am very stingy about my stuff. So
So I had Double Dragon 2 for the NES. And I actually had one of my friends come over to play the game with me. And I think I went to the bathroom and I came back and he was leaving and everything. So he left. And I didn't think of it, but then I started looking for my game and I was just like, where's my Double Dragon 2? So I went to his house uh a week later because of school and stuff. I went to his house and I see my gang sitting on his like counter and everything. So, he goes somewhere. So I take the game and I go home. I stole my game back
Mm.
for it.
Look at you, Ed. Look at you.
I was just like, what the heck you doing with my
Rebel.
game? Yeah.
Rebel.
And we after that we stopped being friends.
Hmm. That's right. You don't need friends. Nobody needs friends. You know who says that? Someone who doesn't have any friends.
Well, hey, you
Our
have me.
I know. I keep you around. It's fine.
Ah,
Josh Martinez writes in. He asks, "What Nintendo crossover needs to happen, and who should it be done? And how should it be done? I'm taking. I'm talking outside sports, parties, fighting, etc. Nintendo crossovers that need to happen. Remember,
so
side tangent. Remember that Star Fox Metroid crossover that was rumored for a long time and it just never
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Remember Star Fox Grand Prix?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That game, that game's being announced at E3. I'm calling it Star Fox Grand Prix. I bet it got reworked a little bit. That game's coming also. They're setting up a huge lineup. Telling you. I'm telling you, Ed. I'm telling you, Star Fox Grand Prix coming fall 2023. Write that down, everybody. Anyways, go ahead, Ed.
For me, okay, so Corey's about to roll his eyes big time for this one. Hyrule Warriors and Elite Beat Ages crossover. I told you. I told you. I told you. So I'm waiting for Corey to put his headphones on because he has to hear my reason. Put on your headphones. Don't text me. Put on your headphones so you can hear me. I have a reason. You have to put on your headphones, Corey, so I can tell you. Oh, good googity foogity.
Hello.
So now I was gonna say Elite Beat Agents and Luigi's Mansion, uh, or Luigi. So they could do some songs to cheer Luigi up or give him courage to suck up ghosts or whatever. But uh, the butt rock music that's in that game would fit so well with Elite Beat Agents, where you're doing the pop and moving the stuff and everything. So they're cheering on Link, and as much as you get like the beat and the timing right, he's sword, slashing like or getting all these other characters, hitting all of these enemies and stuff. And it is linear, so you don't have to go to different places or anything, but you got to be on the right beat and everything. I can see just the Elite Beat agents like in Zelda gear cheering on Link and the crew and everything. So I'm going with Hyrule Warriors and Elite Beat agents.
Gross.
Where's it growth for?
Gross. Um. Okay, so I think, man, I think the crossover, I think would be super cool. Would be, I think you could actually do this pretty fit. So it's a 3-way crossover, some sort of RPG with Fire Emblem, Zelda, and Xenoblade. I think would be
Ooh.
super cool. And it could be a strategy RPG. It could be a turn-based RPG. I actually think a turn-based classic JRPG would be awesome.
I think so, yeah.
With characters from these 3 universes, right? And like, you could, it could be like you could make like a sprawling JRPG, like 100-hour JRPG, easily, fighting bosses from all of these series. Bringing in fan favorite characters from Fire Emblem, cool characters from Xenoblade, and you could like you could possibly unlock like 40 or 50 characters to be in your party at some point. Like I don't know, I mean I don't know if it would be like some sort of Suikoden situation. Uh,
Oh,
I wouldn't want it
that
that big, right? Like I think you got to
yeah,
narrow it down to like maybe
4 people for
like
like a 4 party.
yeah, like I mean like four, probably like four, maybe you could extend it to five, right? Like I mean, but I mean you would have to narrow down the amount of characters, right? Like 12 to 15, you know.
Hmm.
Uh so I mean, I don't know how you would do that, but I think that would be super cool to like really have some sort of crossover thing with these universes. I think it would be super cool. Maybe 20 characters to choose from at the most. But I mean like I'm thinking like really kind of Final Fantasy 10 or 10 ish kind of JRPG, real classic JRPG with just solid mechanics, cool
Mm.
story, cool bosses, cool cutscenes, that kind of thing. Sign me up.
I will probably have like,
Nope, you already went.
oh, I was gonna say Paper Mario or Star Fox together. What? What?
Chub Life Nick is in the chat. He has a couple questions for us. And then we'll get to our last question on our doc here.
All right. Hey Nick from Beyond WASA
It's
Beyond
WASD and beyond, Ed.
Beyond. Sorry, I'm thinking of their Twitter
I
thing.
know their Twitter
And
handle is Beyond WASD, and it always like I mean like I listen to the show, but I always call them Beyond WASD because that's their Twitter account.
and us and shout out to Spycap. Everybody do go check out the Dignity podcast. They
Yes.
actually dropped the episode today. I didn't get to check it. I know they talked about that they were gonna record today, but
Mhm.
I'm sorry everybody, I just didn't get to check it. So shout out to you, Nick.
Diggity,
Shout out to the
WASD and Beyond, Build Bros, and they have an anime podcast too that I don't know the title of because I'm not into anime, but I support you anyways. Spawn Camp. Love you
yes.
guys.
Hey, everybody,
I don't know
check
why I
out
did
Spycap.
the Rocky Arnold fist pump thing.
Also, check out Spycap on their Discord and Spycap on their Twitch account. They're trying to get to 100 subs. So if you love their
Okay,
content, dude,
what are we, an
jump.
ad for Spawn Camp now? Jeez,
Hey,
tone it down a
we
little
gotta
bit.
show love.
Okay.
We gotta show love to our people. But go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I'm just kidding. We love you guys. I wish we did more together. I know we kind of record shows on the same days, and so we can't really cross over as much as we would like to, but we'll get there again someday. Um, anyways, our question from Nick is his first question is what could Nintendo do better in regards of their online capabilities? Whenever you see someone talk about it online, it seems to be a huge joke when talked about. Yes, it's also a huge joke here because their online service is bad. It's better than it used to be, but it is bad. You know, Splatoon seems to be the only game that seems to get it. I don't know how.
Splatoon 3.
Fortnite also gets it. Uh, Nintendo, and it's gonna be really hard to do on like a handheld. I feel like, even though I guess like Apple Apple gets it, and every Android phone gets it, and whatever. But I think just the way Nintendo operates and stuff, like online has never been a huge thing for them, and I don't think it's ever going to be. I would like I'm still wondering if Nintendo's games are going to be backwards compatible because of their online stuff. So what
I,
could they do
I,
better? I think they need to I think they need to figure out and maybe even hire a team to build an online infrastructure that
But
is somewhat even comparable to Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, and just figure it out. Spend the money. It's not like they don't have the money.
mm,
They could put a re-release out of a Mario game and make the money up to have this team run for 5 years, right? I mean, it's not
uh,
like
but but my thing is that when it comes to Nintendo Online, Nintendo doesn't make enough games to fit the online idea
what do you
in the
mean? What do you mean? They certainly do. Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, all the Mario sports
that
games,
all of that
Mario
doesn't make
Party.
no. When it comes to what the idea for online people are thinking of, they're thinking of first person shooters.
Not
They're not thinking of
necessarily.
Corey.
Xbox has a
What
ton of games that require online that are not first person shooters.
right?
PlayStation has games.
But the only games that people are thinking of when it comes to online multiplayer is first person shooters.
No, they're
The only
not.
one that only one that I could think of that everybody's talking about Microsoft is Sea of Thieves. What are they
Forza.
doing with what? No one's doing Forza. No one's playing Forza multiplayer online
Yes, they are.
when it
That
comes to
whole
online.
game is online.
Yeah,
Forza
but no one
Horizon
is
is an
playing.
online only game.
But no one is playing Forza online though.
They
Microsoft
have
has
to play online. That's the only way to play
but
the game.
for the multiplayer stuff, no one is playing it. When it comes to online for Xbox and PlayStation, it's always going to be first person shooters or it's going to be a Souls game. That's all people are thinking of. And Fortnite, they're not thinking of what the stuff that Nintendo is putting out. No one is talking about.
You
I
know why
mean,
nobody's
yes,
talking about Nintendo games online? Because their online doesn't work.
but
That's why.
but because it doesn't have chat functionality, because that's the only other problem they will have to fix. You add chat, Nintendo Online is fixed.
No, I highly disagree. It's funny. Nick in the chat says I've caused chaos on this show.
No, but
No, the
I
only
even
reason
that
why nobody's talking
but
about Nintendo games in the same way that people talk about games like Fortnite and Call of Duty and stuff is because Nintendo's online does not work.
but no one
How many times have
but
you heard people
even
say I would play Smash Bros online if it worked? If their online worked, if Mario Kart's online worked better, I would play more of it online. I can't tell you the last time I played one of these games online because they just don't work. Actually, I can tell you like a year ago when me, Stephanie, and Austin played Mario Party online and it kicked us out of two separate games live on stream. It kicked us out of games. Why, do you ask? Because Nintendo's online infrastructure is not strong enough to be capable of having proper online play. And you still have to use friend codes for God's sakes to have
yeah,
friends. That's
but
not like I understand that like technically Microsoft under the hood use everybody is assigned like a player number, right?
yeah,
And but their gamer tag sits on top of this and you can search by gamer tag. You still can't search for friends by their username, right?
correct.
It's just they don't they just don't have what people expect from online functionality from stuff like PlayStation or Xbox or Steam or Epic Game Store, right? Like you can't just look at your profile and say, "Oh, well, I have these types of stats. Here's my profile picture." And like in the stuff that they do have, it's extremely limited, you know?
And I think that's why I feel like with Nintendo and with just online in general, I feel like online is literally limited with certain with gamers. Because when you hear online, you think of certain games that the functionality will work with. Definitely when you think of Microsoft, you still think of first person shooters, like I said. Everything else that you mentioned that like even yes, you can't play Forza Horizon without it being online. But that means that you can't even play the single player playing it online. Even with the game being installed, you can't play it. So I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about the multiplayer stuff that people are actually going to be playing. If Nintendo had Call of Duty, Battlefield, and all of this other stuff and online wasn't working, then that's when we'll be like, okay, they need this to get fixed. But when it comes to online with Nintendo, who is complaining for really complaining for it to be
Everybody,
improved?
a lot of
Because
people are complaining that
bec-
Nintendo's online needs to be improved.
because what is it for? Because of Splatoon,
No, I think
Mario
I think
Kart.
everybody just wants Nintendo to catch up. It doesn't have anything to do with like playing online specifically. It's just like
But that's the thing about it. The online portion is the use of playing it.
that's I mean, no, not necessarily. There's stuff there are things that require online stuff that
Hmm.
don't have anything to do with playing games. I think the basic character like your basic Nintendo like ID setup could use a lot of work, right? I want to have more than 8 characters as my username, and I want to be able to add a friend by typing their username in to
Hmm.
find them. I want to be able to do like, here are my favorite games. Here are statistics of my favorite games, other than, oh, you started Splatoon 3 8 days ago. Right? I don't care. I want to see like, what's my what's my KD ratio in Splatoon? How much turf has I inked in Splatoon, right? Like how many matches have I played? How many matches have I won? How many friends do I have playing Splatoon right now? Which I know they've added like a trending thing, and they've added your friends have recently played this, but like I just want those sorts of things, right? Like I can go on when I turn on my Xbox, I can go over to my friends list, and it gives me a list of like
Statistics,
it gives me a list of
basically.
statistics, but like I go over to my friends list and it tells me what they're playing.
Hmm.
I can join a party chat. I can join the game they're playing. I can see like what they're doing in the game, where they're at, and like Nintendo doesn't need to get that deep, right? But like
Hmm.
when I'm playing Destiny, I can go and see my friend Mitch is playing Destiny. Oh, he's doing a patrol in the EDZ. I don't need to know that much, but like it would be nice to know like, oh, my friend's playing an online match in
But
Splatoon.
see,
Oh,
then this.
maybe I'll go play Splatoon, or like my friends are playing Xenoblade. Oh, I wonder where they're at. What area of the game are they in? What chapter are they on? That's cool. I can see that. Like it's little things like that that PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Epic, and all these 800 other launchers have,
Mhm.
and I think that's just a nice quality of life feature, you know. So, thanks Nick. You've caused a lot of drama on this show. I hope you're proud of yourself. um but even like with the online, with even playing games online, like I think it would just be really nice if you know we could chat with our friends by plugging in a headset and just talk to them,
And and
and
and which I said, which I did say that if they had the talking functionality to chat, yes, that would be the only. To me personally, that
but
would be the only
the
improvement
but
because of.
the problem is that functionality is actually already in the system, because you can do it with games like Fortnite and
Mhm.
Fall Guys, and what's the other really popular game that people play, Among Us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is a Nintendo game limitation, right? That you can't do that. And I think that is an issue in and of itself, is that like other games are allowing you to do this. Why can't Nintendo allow you to do this? And it really bugs me. um
Well, because the thing, because I feel like even if Nintendo put all that effort, time, and everything into the online and made people happy, people still would not use it because people barely still use the online
well, I think
functionalities on the other
also
products.
well also a lot of Nintendo's design philosophy is revolved around couch co-op still on their, or
Hmm.
couch competitive, with but I think like you could easily have both. I think Mario Kart is a great example of having both. And I think that they have tried to do both with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it's technically feasible, but it's also incredibly difficult to stay connected, and I have fiber internet. It's not like I have some garbage internet. Like we pay for fiber, we pay for a lot of upload and download speed, right? Like it's
Hmm.
and I have the Switch dock that has the Ethernet cable running to it. Like it's not like I don't have it set up to where like it
And
just doesn't work. It doesn't stay connected, and it is really just a poor experience for those who want to play online. And
and
it's
I that,
go ahead.
no, I just feel like that. I think that's what I said. Even if Nintendo gave not for customers, not for the players, but from a third party perspective, if Nintendo put everything all for the online stuff, everything was working, they would still not get the games that's going to really utilize it. They're not going to get Call of Duty. They're not going to get
But
Battlefield. They're not going to
I
really
don't
get
think you
the
need Call of
Apex
Duty
stuff.
you don't need Call of
And
Duty and
that's
Battlefield
that's
to
but that's the thing. When it comes to online, that's the games that everybody's really using it for.
I'm talking about
Outside of Destiny,
I'm talking about Fortnite. I'm talking about Minecraft. I'm talking about Fall Guys. I'm talking about
some of the
adventuring in some sort of RPG adventure with your friends. I'm
mhm,
not talking about these major first person shooters because we know Switch is not going to get those, right? Switch is never going to
mhm.
have Battlefield, Destiny, Call of Duty, Halo,
And
those
that's what
types of
everybody
shooters.
want. And that's what some adults or some grown players who are Nintendo Switch owners, when they talk about online, those are the games that they want
But they don't want those
to
on
make their
Switch.
online.
You're either playing first person shooter on PC or one of the next gen consoles, right? Like that's
Hmm.
just where you're playing those games. And like, yeah, it'd be cool if Nintendo could get like a first person shooter, but like we were talking about Metroid Prime 4 for example earlier. That game could be a monster hit online if it had the right multiplayer suite, right? If
Hmm.
you're like, hey, it could like you could set it up in a way of like a Time Splitters or Perfect Dark or GoldenEye type way where like you start out everybody starts out with like the arm cannon or maybe you build your own bounty hunter or something, right? This is something I've been talking about since Mark Carabin was on the Warp Whistle, right? Like
Ooh.
I mean, I submitted this way back then, and him when him and his brother were doing Warp Whistle, right? It's like
Hmm.
you could have a Halo 2 style multiplayer mode where it's an arena shooter. Everybody starts out with the same weapons and you go for power weapons or power ups for your arm cannon, or you build your own bounty hunter and you can customize your own bounty hunter or whatever, right? Like you could do all that stuff. You could keep your Metroid Prime campaign separate, right? Like obviously, you go through like a proper Metroid Prime game and do all those things, but like Nintendo could have their own major first person shooter on their own platform if they just figured out this online stuff. And maybe it'll work by then. Maybe they figured it out. I don't think they've figured it out. I think the only Nintendo first party game that has it figured out is Splatoon. I don't know how it works differently than the other things. I know
Hmm.
they switched to some sort of
To the
proprietary server thing
Yeah.
for this one, whereas everything else is I don't know. I can't tell you right now what it is, but like
And I think, well, I think definitely, if more people play their online games and talk more about it and get out of the first person shooter idea of online, I think there will probably be a different discussion to have, because I'm just
mhm.
like, if you're focusing on Nintendo's online, like if you're focusing on Nintendo online so it can supply person shooters and big first person shooters, say that. But then make sure, if you're going to focus on that, play Splatoon, uh play Mario Kart,
Well,
Mario
clearly people are
Party,
playing Splatoon.
Striders.
We already talked about how it's
Well,
probably
well,
sold
yeah,
7 or 8 million
but
units in
but
like 2 weeks.
who think people who think that need to like really play that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I think that's enough for the online conversation for now. I do wish they'd fix it. I think you know they could do things differently, but obviously Nintendo doesn't operate that way, and obviously it doesn't matter to a lot of people because it's I mean the Switch has sold 120 something million units, and games just you know they exist. So
Yeah.
thanks, Nick, for that question. We're gonna answer your second question too, actually, because it's interesting, and I think Ed may have an interesting answer to this. He asks, "Would you guys also like to see Nintendo go into any mature games for Switch? Uh, I'm not privy to any that may exist." Uh, well, I mean, they own Astral Chain, right? Which is theirs. They're publishing Bayonetta, although that's technically Sega's. Um, they do own Eternal Darkness, though we haven't seen that in a long time. I I don't know. I think it would be really interesting because I think when you look at a company like Disney has had some success moving into quote unquote mature whatever, right? I remember like when they put out their first PG-13 movie under the Disney banner. I think it was Pirates of the Caribbean actually. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh my gosh, man, that's crazy, that Disney would put out a PG-13." And now like I mean, look, Marvel and Star Wars and Pirates and Tron, like all these games or all these movies are PG-13, right? And so I mean, I think they have franchises that would work in a mature style setting. Like I think a dark Zelda story, an M-rated Zelda story would work. I mean, we go back to that crossover question. I always thought that like having a Dark Souls like game set in Hyrule where you're playing as Ganon trying to resurrect himself would be a really cool, dark, mature story in the Zelda universe, right? And it wouldn't have to really involve Zelda or Link or anything. It's just how does Ganon come to power, And you could start out as Thief Ganon and make your way up and, find the Triforce of Power and become Ganon. So I think there's a lot of different games that could fit into that. I think that's one that would be a surefire hit to a lot of people. Um, I think Metroid still fits into that camp too. I think you would have to get real alien with it, right? Like almost alien isolation uh type Metroid game where you're like really isolated and maybe instead of a xenomorph, maybe uh, Ridley is chasing you around, um, maybe Dead Spacey or whatever. Like I think that would be super cool. Yeah, Nick just said Dead Space in the chat. I think those are the two franchises that would benefit the most actually from a M-rated storytelling. If you did it right. What are your thoughts, Ed?
Um,
M-rated
hmm.
Mario game. M is
I
for Mario.
so to be honest with you, I don't think Nintendo could benefit from any M-rated games from them.
Oh,
Because of
you.
this is the thing about it. I feel like Nintendo will be like the M rating will take away from our creative vision, from our. And it's not
See, I
you
think it
could
would actually
always.
open up their creativeness in certain cases.
I really don't think so because I think is people will focus so more on the violence or all of this stuff that and we got to think about the culture and around the world and all of that stuff, and everything. But I think what Nintendo tries to go for in their games with their themes and everything, they feel like the violence is going to be something that people are going to be focused on that's going to overtake the story. Because look, as great as God of War is on PlayStation 4, and everybody was so deep into the narrative, there have been other games that have had deep, mature narratives, and no one really talks about them. But I feel like that is going to be the thing with some of their Nintendo games, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Yes, it is teen rated, but go into that game with the story and get that narrative that's very mature on it. Don't go in to be like, oh, this is just another anime story. No, this game is deep. And if you want to very mature and movie and kind of adult story, that is a game for people to get Monolith is able to deliver that story and everything.
Well, I mean, remember that one story like a long time ago on the original version of Expansion Pass, like we talked about Monolith maybe entering a M-rated space, right?
Hmm.
Which is their IP after Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is what we're predicting, right? That game with the red-haired protagonist overlooking the what is it? The just the landscape or whatever.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, Monolith seems to be headed that way. Um, I don't really know what other franchise would be cool in a mature rated setting. I don't know if Nintendo would do it themselves either. I think they would have to partner with someone like probably Tecmo Koei, or
yeah.
I think
It's
Retro could probably pull off a mature's Metroid story if Nintendo would let them, right?
I
Like
think yeah, and I think Nintendo would pay for mature games.
Sega.
I'm not talking about Bayonetta or anything,
No, no, no,
but
no, no.
I think Nintendo would pay for mature stuff if someone presented to them and be like, not only this is the gameplay, this is our story. Because now it's just like we keeping our hands off. You guys
Hmm.
create any story that you want to create. It's M-rated. We'll let it be. In fact, they were just like they would give you advice for your M-rated game to even make it a little bit more M-rated and stuff. And be like, you guys have the free will. But I think for Nintendo themselves, it's just that their games, their IP has a ability to tell a story without having to go to that mature level in order to get it through and make it memorable. Because outside if Nintendo to answer the question, if Nintendo really wanted to go M-rated, Kid Icarus is the thing to go for. If
Mm.
you're going to pick any if you're going to pick any title, you're going to go to Kid Icarus. When a Greek story, not saying they need to be like God of War,
Pit's just turning into God of War now.
but the thing about it is, it's just. But the thing about it is that that's the one that because if Kirby goes into it, everybody's gonna make a lot of sexual jokes with Kirby and
Well,
stuff.
yeah. Well, you're not gonna.
You know, uh,
I'm
people
looking
gonna
up
take it too far
Nintendo.
M-rated,
I'm looking up
huh?
Nintendo IP to see if anything else would fit. Uh,
You know, I think Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes was M-rated.
yeah,
I
but that's not
think
Nintendo though.
right, but Nintendo paid for it. Is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
The only game that Nintendo actually has that's M-rated, no, not really Eternal Darkness, would have been was Conker's Fur Day because they owned Rare at the time,
yeah.
and that was the only M-rated game that came out of Nintendo.
I think Sin and Punishment could be a really interesting M-rated game if you did it correctly.
Now, I will say, if Nintendo wants to get it M-rated, release the Fire Emblem Awakening with the red light district in it.
Mm-mm. Oh
Like,
no.
the stuff that got cut out for those games that was in Japan that's acceptable, put them in America.
You know, it'd be really cool. Uh, well, okay, so Nintendo didn't do the conduit, so never mind. I was gonna say, what if they brought the conduit back and made it like darker? But you know, what'd be cool actually is if they rebooted Codename Steam and made it like a Gears game.
Oh shoot, heck yeah,
That'd be
I would
awesome.
play it. I mean, people might say that this is
We're getting into wishful
uh
territory now.
what was the Sony game with
Uh,
the werewolves that you fight?
oh, the
The
Order.
Order. Yeah,
God, what
some
a
people
cool
might
game.
get into that too.
I love the Order. I know it didn't do well, but that game is awesome.
I'll play the
Nintendo
video of
owns
the Order.
Geist. Not that that game was great, but they do own that. I'm
That
just,
is true, and
I'm,
as much as I bring up guys and I get the eye roll.
yeah, I'm looking through. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that Nintendo owns that would be interesting as an M-rated. Uh, Pandora's Tower. They could bring Pandora's Tower back as like a Souls-like game. Pandora's Tower would be a really cool Souls-like.
That would be interesting.
Man, where are the HD re-releases of Pandora's Tower and Last Story. Can we get those, please? Last Story was so good, and it's stuck on the Wii. Sorry, I almost used my cussing words there.
Hey, Kirby Deluxe is that Kirby game
No,
that came from the
gross.
Wii.
No,
I'm talking
no,
about
no.
I'm saying that came from the Wii. So there's a possibility that those other two games that are Wii games could
Yeah, but
come from.
Nintendo owns Kirby, and Nintendo re-releases games. Mistwalker owns Last Story and Lost Odyssey.
What?
Microsoft, bring Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey to the Switch.
I mean, they put Blue Dragon on 3DS,
I
so
know.
why not?
I know. Gosh, Lost Odyssey is such a what a game.
I need to get back. I need to get back into that game. I have it on I have my Xbox, but I think I got the physical.
Nintendo owns The Last Story. Sorry, I got real excited, and I know it's never going to happen, but I got really excited.
You never know.
Um, I know this is very riveting.
Oh my goodness, that was third. That was by
No, that can stay dead.
that can stay on the Wii.
Although I had that game, and I sold it because it was bad, and now a sealed copy of that is worth like $800, and I'm very upset that I got rid of that game.
That is a sin amongst sin.
So yeah, I mean, there's some cool games they could do. It would be very rare, but they do own stuff that would be really interesting in a mature style setting. All right, and we're gonna get to our last question here on the dock. Because I don't want to leave anybody out since we didn't really have a lot of news, although we have been going for 2.5 hours. This is awesome.
Well, you did say the show's going to be unhinged, so.
I did. Friend of show, Jack Brow, contributor to the Boss Rush Network, writes in and asks, nope, that's wrong question. Enough debate on which major chain pizza has good pizza. What is your favorite frozen pizza from the grocery store? Okay. Aldi, Mama Cosey's 4-cheese blend pizza. You buy a pack of pepperoni, and you buy, for me, I would put jalapenos on it, but I know my wife doesn't like it. But you buy that stuff separate, and then right before you put it in the oven, you layer that pepperoni on. You layer those jalapenos on. You put it in the oven. As soon as it comes out, you put some Parmesan cheese on top. You put some red pepper flakes on there. That is the best frozen pizza. Their basic pepperoni is also pretty good, and their supreme pizza is very good. But the 4-cheese blend Mama Cosey's from Aldi, it is $7.99. No, it's $6.99 for a 14-inch pizza, and then a bag of pepperoni is like $1.50. Man, I have to tell you, I am now craving Mama Cosey's pizza. So,
Okay.
Are you struggling there with your headset there, Ed?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. So, for me, the best frozen pizza. Now, if you want some chameleon style, thin crust, cheap, somewhat garbage pizza, because you don't really feel like cooking, Jack's is the way to go. But if you want some good old pizza, not home run in. I know I'm bougie, so I apologize in advance. But the Supreme DiGiorno's is on point.
See,
now
every time I've gotten DiGiorno, it's been terrible. It doesn't cook right. It's doughy on the inside and hard burnt on the outside. It's not great.
Now, I will say this though. If you're trying to be bougie and super fancy, that Uno's frozen pizza is no joke because you would get full on the first slice. That mug is thick, it's filled, it is on the point good. ever since I tried it, when I feel like getting it, I'll go and get it. Uh, it's a little bit pricey. Like sometimes it's like 15 some dollars, but it's good. $15 well spent. You preheat that good old oven. You get it all prepared. You throw it in, let it cook, do what you need to do. And you take it out, you let it cool off, you cut it into the slices, and you taste that good old buttery breading. And you just snack into it. By the time you get done with one slice, you'll be ready for a nap. You got six other slices more to go, or seven other slices to
No,
go.
I'm just
That Una pizza, top tier.
no,
But like,
I'm really hungry now. Like that's all I want now is just food.
but for a budget, yeah, the Jordans for me. And I will say this: I do red berries too. I like red berries when they're on sale and everything. I normally do the red berries when they got like the sausage or the sausage and pepper.
It's fair. It's fair. I like I'm not a big whoop whoop. There he is. Okay, we heard a little Skype beep there. It's fine. He's back.
Oh, can you hear me, Corey?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a big extra topping guy. I do enjoy pepperoni, and also, I think if onions and green peppers were cooked correctly, and not just
Hmm.
like chopped up and thrown in a container before they get thrown in the oven, like if you actually like no, like if you actually like put them in a pan and cook them correctly and then layered them on the pizza,
Yeah,
right? I think that would
yeah.
actually be really really good, but nobody ever does that, and I'm not going to take the time to do that. So
And I will say this, like when I do the journals, it's only the supreme. I don't do like the pepperoni. Jack's, I'll do like the pepperoni or maybe the sausage or anything. Red Baron, like I said, I do the sausage and pepperoni. I do pepperoni when it's with sausage, or if that is the only thing to get, I'll literally go do pepperoni and stuff.
cool.
So
Well, Ed, that's all I got for
all
questions,
right.
and I think that's all we got for the episode.
Yes, everybody, that is going to be it for Nintendo Power Block. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at that Retroco. Also, check me out on Discord and check out more of Nintendo Power Block on our YouTube page at Boss Rush Network. Check us more of our content out at bossrush.net. And if you want to get these shows in advance and early, or want to support us more, you could become a Patreon supporter or a Patreon producer. You can go to bossrush.net and check out our Patreon and click on the link and find out how to support us there. Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am CoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me doing stuff on Boss Rush Network, including the Boss Rush podcast, Expansion Pass, Standard Def, and other things. If you like Destiny, I also host a Destiny podcast called Tower Casuals. You can check that out. Yeah. Find me.
Have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Into the Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woo!
Goodbye.